You're holding a smartphone in your hands right now, or sitting at a computer, and you might think you control your digital life. Now, a fact. Your social security number is worth between $1 and $6 on the black market. $6. Less than a latte at Starbucks. Your hacked Netflix account? $25. Credit card data with a balance of up to $5,000? $110 to $120. A full package of your identity, passport, driver's license, SSN, banking details, can be bought for about $1,000 to $1,200. These are dark web prices for 2025. And you know what's the craziest part? It's cheap. Because there's too much of your data. There's an oversupply. Right now, 24.6 billion combinations of logins and passwords are circulating on the dark web. 24.5 billion. That's about 4 sets of credentials for every person on the planet. And that's just the illegal market. The legal one? Oh, that's where things get much more interesting. An industry worth over $300 billion. The data broker market, companies that legally collect, analyze, and sell your data, is estimated at between $303 and $323 billion in 2024. By 2029, it is expected to grow to between $480 and $560 billion. By 2034, between $600 and $700 billion, annual growth of 7 to 10%, more stable than most sectors of the economy. Around the world, there are about 5,000 data brokers, plus roughly 10 million open data sets from governments and nonprofits. The most interesting part, you have probably never heard the names of the companies that know more about you than your friends do. Acxiom, Experian, Equifax, Oracle, LexisNexis, CoreLogic, Lotame. These companies collect hundreds of data points per person. Your purchases, your movements, your search queries, your health status, your political views, your family status, your income level, your credit history. And they sell it, legally, every day. Facebook knows you better than you know yourself. Let's look at specific numbers. Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp makes between $131 and $165 billion per year from advertising. That's almost 98% of the company's total revenue. The average revenue per user worldwide is about $13 per quarter. But in the United States and Canada, $68. In Europe, $23. That means Facebook sells you to advertisers for about $68 per quarter if you were American. That's $272 per year. And Google? Advertising brings them more than $265 billion per year. With more than 5 billion users, that's roughly $50 to $60 per person per year on average. But here's what matters. That's not the price of your data. That's how much they earn from your data. The real value is much higher. Why are you cheap on the dark web, but expensive for corporations? It's a paradox. On the black market, your full digital identity sells for about $1,000. Facebook earns $272 per year from you, endlessly. The difference is the model. A hacker sells your data once. A corporation monetizes it continuously. Your data is not oil. Oil runs out. Your data is a generator that produces value every second you are online. Every click, every like, every second you pause on a post, every item you put in your cart and don't buy, every search query, all of it is data, all of it is money. 70% of apps sell you. A study by Oxford University showed that 90.4% of free apps share user data with at least one third party. On average, 5 companies. More than 70% of smartphone apps share your data with ad networks like Google Analytics, Facebook Graph API, and Crashlytics. The average app collects 15 out of 32 possible data categories, according to Apple's classification. Some collect much more. X, formerly Twitter, collects 22 out of 32 data points. Facebook Messenger collects all 32, literally everything possible. A typical smartphone user has about 25 active apps. Each one is a potential leak. 14,000 times a day. In 2018, the New York Times conducted an investigation. They found that about 200 million mobile devices were transmitting location data to apps. Some apps record your location up to 14,000 times per day. The location data industry is worth $12 billion per year. One company, Xmode, bragged on its website that at one point it had collected location data from 25% of adult Americans. Another company, Reveal Mobile, processes data from 50 million devices daily. That's 20 billion location events every single day. And that's just one company out of 47 involved in location data trading. Tim Hortons, a Canadian coffee chain, Baco, was caught tracking users every few minutes, even when the app was closed. Religious prayer apps, fitness trackers, period tracking apps, all of them collect data and all of them sell it. Okay, companies collect data. That's their business model. But what happens when that data leaks? In 2024, the United States recorded 3,158 data compromise incidents. This includes leaks, hacks, and accidental disclosures. Number of victims, more than 1.7 billion notifications, an increase of 312% compared to 2023. The 6 largest breaches of 2024 each affected more than 100 million records. Ticketmaster, 560 million records. Advance Auto Parts, 380 million. Change Healthcare, 190 million, the largest medical data breach in history. Demand Science, 121.8 million. AT&T, 110 million. MC2 Data, 100 million. These 6 breaches account for 85% of all notifications for the year. And here's what's especially sad. 4 of these breaches could have been easily prevented. Ticketmaster, Advance Auto Parts, Change Healthcare, and AT&T. In every case, hackers used stolen credentials for accounts without two-factor authentication. 1.24 billion records leaked simply because someone didn't turn on two-factor authentication. Separately, it's worth talking about what may be the largest breach of 2024. National Public Data, a data broker that collected information for background checks, leaked 2.9 billion records, almost 3 billion. That's more than the populations of China and India combined. The data included names, social security numbers, addresses, and sometimes aliases. The database was put up for sale on the dark web for $3.5 million. A class action lawsuit was filed against the company, but the case never reached court. Jericho Pictures, the parent company of National Public Data, filed for bankruptcy in October 2024. It lost customer trust and shut down. The data of 2.9 billion people is now publicly available. For companies, data breaches are expensive. The average cost of an incident in 2024 was $4.88 million globally. In the United States, $10.22 million. Healthcare breaches are the most expensive, $7 to $9 million on average, a record for 12 consecutive years. On average, it takes 194 days to detect a breach, another 64 days to contain it. That means hackers can stay inside a company's systems for about 6 months before anyone notices. Do you know which data is the most valuable? Medical data. A full medical record can sell on the black market for up to $500 or more. Why so expensive? Because medical data contains everything. Your name, address, date of birth, insurance number, medical history, prescriptions, and sometimes genetic information. It's the perfect set for insurance fraud, identity theft, and blackmail. Change Healthcare, the largest medical data breach in history, affected 190 million Americans, almost 60% of the country's population. The leaked data included names, social security numbers, dates of birth, driver's license numbers, medical record numbers, insurance information, and clinical data. Everything needed for full identity theft. Before, stolen data had to be processed manually, sorted, analyzed, matched to use cases. Now there is AI. 73% of companies report that over the past year they experienced at least one AI-related security incident. The average cost of such an incident is $4.8 million. AI makes it possible to automatically sort billions of stolen records, to create personalized phishing emails, to generate deepfake voices for fraud, to bypass identity verification systems. The largest language models are trained on 13 trillion tokens. That's roughly 10 trillion words. A significant portion of that data was collected without users' knowledge. AI doesn't just use your data, it learns from it. And it makes data theft more efficient. Let's get specific. Here's how much different types of data cost on the black market in 2025. Financial data. Credit card data with a balance up to $5,000 sells for $110 to $120. A hacked PayPal account goes for $100 to $500. Access to a bank account holding over $100,000 sells for several $1,000s. A cryptocurrency account on Kraken sells for $1,000 to $100 or more. Identity data. A social security number costs $1 to $6. A scanned driver's license costs $20 to $200. A physical fake passport costs $3,000 to $5,000. Accounts and subscriptions. A Netflix account costs $25. Spotify, HBO, or Hulu. Accounts cost $1 to $25. An Airbnb account costs $300 or more. Corporate data. Access to a corporate network costs $500 to over $100,000. Zero-day exploits cost $10,000 to over $200,000. The average American whose data has leaked is worth about $5,500 on the dark web if you add up all stolen data points. If the product is free, you are the product. Everyone has heard this phrase, but very few people understand the scale. Marketing and advertising control 38.8% of all demand for data from data brokers. This is the largest segment. Companies buy data for targeted advertising, creditworthiness assessment, hiring decisions. Price setting? Yes, prices can change depending on your profile. Insurance calculations, political campaigns. Burger King once launched a promotion.
If your phone was within 600 feet of a McDonald's, the app offered you a Whopper for 1 cent. They were literally tracking when you were near a competitor. The Internal Revenue Service, U.S. Customs, the military, all of them have bought location data from commercial companies. Why get a warrant if you can just buy it? In 2024, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau of the United States proposed new rules for data brokers. Now, companies that sell income data and financial information must follow the same rules as credit bureaus. 40% of U.S. states now have data protection laws. In 2025, new laws take effect in Delaware, Iowa, Maryland, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Hampshire, New Jersey, and Tennessee. In Europe, the General Data Protection Regulation has been in force since 2018. Meta received a fine of 91 million euros in 2024 for exposing customer data, the largest GDPR fine of that year. The United Kingdom announced in April 2025 plans to create the National Health Data Service, a centralized system for the secure monetization of National Health Service data for research and innovation. In other words, the government itself wants to make money from your medical data legally. What can you do? The honest answer, not much. You can turn off location tracking in apps, use a virtual private network, enable two-factor authentication everywhere, check app permissions, use a password manager. In California, request data deletion under the California Consumer Privacy Act. But here's the problem. The data has already leaked, many times. On average, 32 stolen data points about each American are circulating on the dark web. For a Russian, 26. For a Briton, 15. Services like Cloaked offer data removal from more than 140 data brokers. But it's like bailing water out of a sinking boat. The data comes back again. Companies track your devices through device mapping. This is a statistical analysis that links your smartphone, tablet, and computer into a single profile with 80 to 85% accuracy. Even if you are not logged in, they know it's you. The data broker market will grow by 7 to 10% per year until 2035. By then, artificial intelligence will become even better at analyzing and monetizing data. Internet of Things devices, smart homes, cars, and wearables will multiply the amount of collected data. Biometric data will become the standard for identification. Genetic data will enter commercial circulation. Already today, companies offer hybrid payment models. Subscription plus pay-per use of data, real-time application programming, interface access to data sets. Your life is live for money.
You know what amazes me the most in this whole story? We give away our data voluntarily, every single day, in exchange for convenience. Free email? Great. Free maps? Sure. Free social networks? Let's go. And we don't read the terms of service, because they're written by lawyers for lawyers. The average privacy policy is 4,000 plus words long, 15 to 20 minutes of reading. Do you have time to read that for each of the 25 apps on your phone? Neither do I. An industry worth $300+ billion is built on the fact that we're too lazy to read the fine print. And every time you click Accept, you add one more data point to your profile. A profile that has already been sold, many times. Your complete identity on the black market is worth $1,000, but corporations make $272+ a year from you, over and over again. So who wins this game? Definitely not you.